Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I honestly don't know why I keep doing this. I keep trying to just get into it and do it properly, but that doesn't seem to be happening. So I'm just putting my shoulder to the grind and just pushing to get this done. So it's currently stupidly late on a Sunday evening as I'm recording this. And today is National Women's Day, the 9th of August, every single year. And because it's on a Sunday, tomorrow is a public holiday, which I am super excited for. Um, but for today's podcast, I thought I would just speak about the incredible women in my life and what they've taught me. Well, those who have influenced me in some way, shape, or form. Once again, this is going to be a shorter podcast than usual, but I've been absent because I've been actually doing a lot of groundwork. I'm getting my social media up and running for the podcast. I'm prepping in advance. I have two more episodes already written down. I just need to record and upload. So the next 3 weeks will definitely be consistent in terms of this week, next week, and the following week. Afterwards, we'll see how it goes. But for the most part, I'm up and running. Like I said, I've been in the trenches, digging deep and pushing through. And I'm also in a much better headspace, physically and emotionally. So definitely better all around and just ready to, like I said, grind and get this done. So, onto the podcast. The women in my life are from various platforms, if you could say that. Some of them are family, some of them are not, and a lot of them are, in a way, able to be reached out to, if that makes sense. So, I've got family and friends that inspire me, YouTubers and celebrities. Obviously, I'm not going to get too into detail. Like I said, I'm going to keep this short and sweet just so I can basically get it done. And as per usual, no editing is going to happen, unfortunately. But that's because I've just been really working hard to try and do better. So that's that. Women's Day is a day to just celebrate women, and a lot of people kind of just, oh, it's another day, happy Women's Day, and then, okay, continue what you do. So, to those women who actually get spoiled, nice. Well done. Enjoy that. And for those who don't, you are appreciated, even if it doesn't feel that way. So just know that. So, to all the women who have done something in the past, in the present, and will do it in the future, thank you. There are probably too many to mention, and I'm not a history buff, so I do not want to step on any toes, but thank you for your contribution. Um, I think starting with the first woman in my life, uh, I would definitely have to say my mother. She has been the best woman, and it's been an honor and a privilege to even just speak to her in certain extents because of just her wealth of knowledge and practicality. Like, she's taught me so much in various aspects of my life that I honestly don't even know what I would have done without it. And I think people who don't even have like mothers, whether they're male or female, like, that is hard. And some people don't even have nice mothers. Like, that is sad. So, my mom, I would say, is definitely the greatest woman I know. um, so, so that is definitely, I think, the first person I would ever mention. The one thing I know I get from her is my can-do attitude. She is always up for a challenge, no matter how daunting it is, how big it is, how scary it is. She's like, okay, what do we do? Eat the elephant one bite at a time. So let's just dive in and go for it. So her attitude is something I'm quite sure I inherited from her, and it's been incredible for me, especially like starting this podcast initially. Dive in, get it done, take up that challenge and run with it. So definitely I would think that she has been one of my greatest influences um, when it comes to women in my life. Another one, or two, I would rather say, who's also maternal figures to me would be my mother's sister and aunt, and then another aunt of mine who is actually my mother's sister-in-law. And both of them have careers, brilliant careers, as well as an entire family. And my mother had to choose a career or her family, and she chose us as her children and her husband and her family, which was not easy, but she did. And times were tough at certain points, but she never let it show. She kept the faith, she pushed, and here we are today. So I think having seen both sides of the coin, of seeing, in terms of my stepmother, a woman raising three children, with my father being a co-parent, working with my mother, who is co-parenting with her and my half siblings, and then raising us as her own children as well, and seeing all those different dynamics of women and how they run their households, has been incredibly influential for me. And then seeing my aunts be career women and still do their thing and be independent but come home and still be family women has been insane. So I think they have definitely shown me a lot of being modern in terms of still being able to have a career and children and a family, instead of the old ways of thinking and just being like, oh, no, you have to be a housewife, or no, the men have to run the household, or things like that, because that's not the case anymore. And I think that is incredible. Another woman who influences me is actually my sister, who is 10 years younger than me. She is an incredible fashionista. She's got such talent in drawing and painting and art and different mediums of art and creation. She's insanely talented in that way, and I think that's just so amazing. Like, she's younger than me, and I go to her for fashion advice. I remember having an interview and being like, Squishy, I need an outfit for an interview. It needs to be formal. Can you just look? And she literally like pulled out options for me. Like, it was insane. And she's very like determined, and she knows what she wants, and she's very specific about it. And I like that a lot. So there's a lot of things about her that I actually admire and look up to, even though she's younger. A cousin of mine that I actually look up to recently started like her own business type of a thing and blog, and she is just killing it with the Instagram game, which is why I want to get back into social media, or start it essentially. And she has just been incredible in that. I don't even think she realized how much she's helped me in life, because we've gone out for lunch and spoken about careers and all sorts of things. Years ago, she helped me like navigate makeup. Like, that's a lot of things, and my own sisters aren't into that, so like they can't help me with it, but she has. So she has been incredible, and I just look up to her so much as a woman who is very stringent in what she wants. She dated her now husband for about 5 years before they even got married, and then they were engaged for about 10 months while planning their wedding. So they were very precise, and she was also like, I'm gonna live with him before I marry him, just to see if we get along in a household, like all sorts of things. It's just very eye-opening that there isn't just one way to do things, and she showed me that in her own way, as other cousins have shown me kind of like what not to do. So that has been brilliant, and those are just people that I can actually like call up and talk to and be like, could you give me advice on this, or can we chat about this, or anything like that. Those are people that I can immediately get into contact with. People who are kind of in between family and celebs at this point would be like people you can access through social media, or some type of a platform like YouTubers. There are an insane amount of YouTubers, honestly, all over the world that I follow and that I love, especially in South Africa. I've actually seen one in the mall. Um, and honestly, the list is too long. But those are people you can watch, you can see, you can interact with on some type of social media platform, and they do actually respond to a lot of people. And the beauty of that is you feel connected to them without feeling so distant from them because of the way they live their life, that you don't feel like, oh, I'll never, whatever, 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 when it comes to this person. They are very relatable and very easy to get into contact with if you make that time to try and do that. Like, you comment on their videos or status or posts or whatever. Sometimes you actually get a response back, and that can actually help you feel like, oh, I can relate to this person better than some random number on a post of like Beyonce or someone who doesn't do that. Um, so that I think is brilliant, and there are honestly too many to mention, but there are a lot of people on social media, especially YouTube, that I like to follow, because they just give brilliant advice, or the way they do things is very inspirational in terms of like being a girl boss and giving tips on how to do that. On maybe, I don't know, food tips on how to like meal prep, how to do a DIY bullet journal, all sorts of things that I actually want to learn. And especially like when they do like live chats or updates on this or things like that, those are always videos and things that I will watch, try and rewatch quite a few times, and even sometimes just to have like a little mini study time for myself, rewatch the video with a notepad and like just take note, literally take note of what they're saying, because that's just how important it is to listen to what they say and actually take it in, because it's like you seeing someone who you can relate to give you this message, and if you are wasting your time and not taking it in, then what are you doing? So taking note of these things that they've taught me has been incredible and just so helpful. And I think the next level with that of that would be like celebs, like I said, who don't kind of reach out to the public and stuff, and you always feel like maybe like a distance from them, where like if you see a YouTuber in the mall and you're like, so cool, and you're just like, hi, and then you like chat to them, and then you leave them alone. You're like, I watch her videos, I see her, I talk to her, like, that's awesome. But like for Beyonce or Oprah, you're not gonna feel the same way, because they are like Beyonce, they are Oprah, like it's difficult. So I think those are obviously people that you can look up to and obviously admire and aspire to be or whatever. But a lot of the times you can't, and that's unfortunate. But that doesn't stop you from finding them inspirational. Like Ashley Graham is an exquisite model who I really look up to. I mean, even her podcast, Pretty Big Deal, is amazing, and I love it, and I can't even begin to list the celebrities or the YouTubers that I follow, just because there's such a huge number of them that they all have something to contribute. And I think being choosy and being picky about who you follow on social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, whatever platform, especially YouTube, pick your battles, pick your people to follow, because whether you realize it or not, they are influencing you, hence the term influencers. Be picky about who you follow, because you want people who are going to be building you up and giving you things that you can use. Like I said, I follow these people because I learn things from them. It would honestly be frustrating to me to watch them and rewatch their videos and not learn something. And I find I always do. Whether it's something I'm going to use immediately or later down the line, there's always something. So I think that is a key thing. Be wary of who you follow on social media. I think that is the big takeaway for today, because they influence you. They can motivate you, but if there's too big of a gap that you feel following them on social media is actually harmful to you, you definitely need to pull back. That went very south very fast. I apologize. I'm actually just gonna end off here with saying there are incredible women in this world that have done so much. There are some that are too young to even grasp the concept of what being a woman is, and eventually they're going to grow up to change the world in indescribable ways. If this virus that's going around, the corona pandemic, has taught us anything, it's that we are resilient, we are incredibly strong, and that we are, what's the word? Creative when it comes to finding solutions to problems. Like, as a people, we will survive this. And once we are done just being satisfied with surviving, we are going to start thriving. Because by then we'll have mastered the basics and just elevate and grow and be better in life. So I think you do you. You have something that you will bring to this world, whether you are a man or a woman, and it's gonna be amazing. So thank you for listening. The song of this week is I'm Every Woman by Whitney Houston in honor of Women's Day. And I hope you have a fabulous week. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. Love you. Bye.